Beautiful shot there.
Oh, wow. Stop it, please.
Well, bienvenida and welcome to all pool fans joining us from across the world for this Predator Pro Billiard Series 10-ball event hosted in this beautiful star-studded arena at the Gandia Palace Hotel just south of Valencia on the Mediterranean in Spain. My name is Gethin Davis and I'm joined in the commentating booth by my good colleague Tim de Ruyter. And what an opening match we have, Tim. It's the Little Monsters Mixed Doubles Open, losers round 2, and we have Pia Filler and Dennis Grabber taking on Yasmin Ushan and Albin Ushan. Tim, what an opener.
Yeah, it's kind of unreal to see both these teams in the loser bracket. The loser will be out, the winner advances. This could easily be a final, so we are definitely up for a treat. And yeah, just very much looking forward to this match. As you can hear, I mean, I'm a little bit surprised to actually see them in the one loss side, but well, let's see. It's best out of 3 sets, races to 4, winner breaks. Early 10 balls do count, and it will be Grabe to break first.
Yeah, and just wanting to point out, both the ladies here have already made it through to the quarterfinals of the women's event, so both female players playing strong. And we get a look at their partner, Dennis Grabber. Looks like a dry break, Tim, and that will bring Yasmin and Albin to the table.
Yeah, pretty decent spread on the table. We'll have to work quite a bit from the 3 to the 4. As you can see, the 4 doesn't go by the 10. Surely they could play for a 4-10 combination, but with 2 diamonds of distance between them, I'm not expecting them to do so.
No, that is fraught with danger. Yasmin's just finished low on the blue too, shouldn't be a problem. As you can see there, Albin just choosing where he wants to put the cue ball to leave her in good position. And as my colleague Tim mentioned, this is best of 3 sets, race to 4, and both players are all players under a shot clock, as you can see in the bottom left corner of the screen. They just need to be a bit sensitive to that. And in one of our earlier matches, Tim, the pairings were liking to discuss their shots with each other and were not keeping necessarily the best eye on the shot clock, and it did start to come into play towards the end of a few racks. So both teams looking to keep a good rhythm around the table. I really doubt that that will be a problem for either of them.
Well, maybe a bit more angle on this 5 ball. Not sure if they can still hold the cue ball for the 6. Would be quite ideal to leave the cue ball near the second diamond, the second dot on the left long rail. Looking from the top side down, of course. Oh, she played the ball a little thicker in the pocket. Might have to play for the 7 in the bottom left. Don't think you will be able to bring the cue ball to the bottom side of the 7.
And that's just what they've done, Tim. And that's not bad at all. Well, for the opening match of the day, both players looking rather relaxed straight out of the blocks, which is good to see. Pouncing on Dennis Graber's dry break. And like you alluded to, this could very well have been the final. So fully expect both teams to be attacking here.
So
And
the
there
opening
we-
run out from the Ushans.
Made to look rather easy, Tim. And just while our referee Greg Crudis of New Zealand racks the balls together, you can just take a little look over at the other table. We have 2 tables streamed for the full 8 days of this tournament. I believe on the other table we have the home hopefuls, Ropero and Sanchez Ruiz, and they're taking on Hong and Son of Chinese Taipei. Another difficult tussle for them. But bringing it back to our table here. Albin will step up to break our second rack. Team Ushan leading early doors, 1 rack to 0.
Well, look at this. All the balls going up table. We don't need the full length of the table anymore. We can just play bar table. Now,
Not that there is a 3-point rule. I think
but they got
it.
Well,
That 4
one thing
is
is
really
interesting.
ugly.
They could, and I know it's very aggressive, and I'm not saying they are going to play it. They could play a carom into the 10, trying to make the 10 in the top right. The right spin is always going to move the cue ball towards the 4, 7, 8, so there is some insurance, and banking the 2 ball down table. Yeah, well, I'm wondering what they're gonna do with the 4 ball. They could play safe on the 4 too. They don't have to go aggressive. Well, I was expecting this, but then a little bit more with the 10. Maybe this is safer.
Yeah, I like your style, Tim. Your eyes are certainly working first thing in the morning, and I do like that shot because they were always going to keep the 2 up this end of the table. However, Dennis has found a gap and has brought that cue ball very nicely up for Pia here. But again, that 4 is not in a very nice spot at all. It looks like Dennis is just asking Pia to push through a little with the cue ball and maybe has a good look at her safety. Can the 4 creep around the 7? Oh, it can. I'm not too sure if that's far enough. Albin may want to kick and stick their opponents into trouble.
Well, with it being so close to the rail, he might even be able to draw the cue ball after contacting the 4 back behind the 7.
Yeah, that will be a classy shot, and Albin rarely gives much away from his body language. Yeah, he did what you said, Tim, and looked to get the cue ball back behind the 7 and 8, but the cue ball has leaked, and it looks like it's leaked enough to give a look on this purple 4. They have called the corner pocket, Tim. I'm not too sure if they called the 6 or the 4.
Well, I am assuming the 4 ball. 6 ball a little bit out of the way. Easily being missed on the thick side.
Oh, yeah. Now, I'm just looking from this angle, Tim. That 7 does not look like it's going to pass the 8. So that could be a thorn in the side of grabber and filler.
Well, with this angle, they might be able to run into it 2 rails. The only thing though, I would like to play the pace to where if I do not catch the 7, I'm trying to come back down so I can at least play safe on the 7.
Well, there is a bank on, but I do fancy that that is a little bit too risky. Could find the Ushans in a bit of trouble here. Ooh. Well, I have to say, Tim, I thought Dennis was going to get the cue ball closer to the 8. And both Yasmin and Albin are very good at getting out of safety shots similar to this. You really do need to lock them up tighter, I feel.
Well, the only good news you could say is the fact that the 7 has landed a bit strange, as in a big angle either to the top left or the top right corner. Can she still beat the scratch and go around the 8, top left spin? She even had to play safe on it.
Yeah, she did, Tim, and I do like the way she played it, cannoning the cue ball into the 8 to freeze it there, knowing that she could bring the 9 into play. I think the 7's just leaked a little bit too far. Albin may have a go at the pot here. Ooh. Well, I thought the cue ball was tracking towards the corner pocket there. It wasn't. And it's contacted the 8 and fallen very nicely against the short rail, which makes this a lot more of a tougher shot. And I don't think that 7 is going to roll far enough for Dennis there. So, a good look and a good opportunity for Yasmin here. It's not the easiest of pots. Solid stuff. Put a great stroke on that. Put the cue ball off the long rail back across the centre of the table. Very nice for the 8. Albin will be looking to put his partner just on the low side of this 9. Just like that.
Yeah, definitely a couple opportunities for Grabe to play themselves into the set. But also the second rack now going to the Ushans. 2-0 lead. And breaking. And I think that's always a big thing. Because now suddenly when the break gets going, it's very easy to put 1 or 2 extra on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a winner-break format as well. Alternate breakers within the team. But it does give a bit of an advantage to those that are in stroke and have the momentum. I did mention that both Yasmin and Pia Filler are into the quarterfinals of the Little Monster Women's International Open. That will take place, the quarterfinal, at 4 p.m. today. So both girls are going to be busy. And also the men are not going to get away with it, as the Little Monster Men's International Open also gets underway at midday today. So please stay tuned to the Pro Billiard TV YouTube channel. Lots of pool to come up, and we're only on day 3, Tim.
Yeah, well, look at this break. 2 balls in. Nice draw needed. I have to say the 3 ball is in a bit of a more difficult position to get to the 4. But with this angle, I think they can leave themselves straight enough on the 3 ball to stay away from the 6-7. I'm not gonna make this joke.
Graham already had me. Graham already had me. He's just come a little bit to the right of this 3. Should be no problem to avoid the 7.
Yeah, the 5 ball does not go to the bottom left. So he was trying to get straighter to draw straight over to the left side of the 5 ball. Jasmine now will have to play into the bottom short rail. Easy to come up too low on this. And too high could also cause some problems, so needs a good shot here. Stun with right. Spin on the cue ball. I think it's perfect.
Very nice. And Tim, Yasmin and Albin are making balls off the break, and that will be danger signs for Pia and Dennis, because so far they've had 1 break and it's been dry. And as we're witnessing, Team Ushan does not hang around when they get in and amongst the balls, so they could start running away with this first set. Feels like all the hard work's been done in this rack now, Tim.
Yeah, we don't really get to see many break and runs in this format, or at least up to this point. But this is the first break and run for today. And it puts the Ushans on the hill first.
Absolutely, and a fist bump between the two. The scoreline is reflecting that they're making light work of this, and indeed they are. Pia and Dennis in the second rack had a few more chances, but did not get the better of the safety play. And yeah, they are facing down the barrel of trailing 3 racks to 0. More importantly, the Ushans retain the break. So Albin to break, first set, leading 3 racks to 0.
Oh, I love how square he hit that break. Look at that cue ball. And that one ball might dress up over the side. Well, did not dress up over the side, but he does have the cross side bank. Could play with the element of save, bring the cue ball towards the 10. If he makes it, could be on the 2 with the angle to open up the 9-4. There is a possible run out still available. But in this format we also see some players saying, listen, it's only a race to 4. Let's just tuck him behind the 4 ball and we'll wait.
Yeah, and as we've seen so far over the past 2 days, that can be employed to great effect. Some players we've witnessed getting into stroke and sometimes being a bit too offensive when defense would have really kept their toe in the lead. She's gone for the bank, Tim. Makes the bank and the 2.
Both.
Oh.
Now, do you know what's even worse about this shot?
No look at the 3.
Well, no look on the 3. Plus, the jump is like, you're like directly queuing on top of the 10. So the jump is also awkward. It's not like, you would give them a decent chance to still be able to make the jump, but not with the 10 where it is.
No, and it looks like that 6 may be crossing, maybe covering the 1 rail escape on the left here. Maybe not. Might just be low enough. So looking just to miss the bottom of the centre pocket on the left-hand side here, but may need to put a bit of running side on it as well. This is a tough shot that they've put themselves in here, unfortunately. And that's a very good hit, and has knocked the 3 ball right up and down the table towards the short rail. It's not landed on the short rail, but there's a good amount of distance between the balls for Dennis to contend with here.
Well, there is the aggressive option, but with being down 3-0, don't see them playing a shot like that. They could go in for the carom on the 10, banking the 3 into the 6 up table. But as you can see, they are not a big fan of the aggressive shots at the moment. Very understandable. I mean, you gotta play the scoreline too.
Yeah, indeed. And Dennis has picked out that 5 ball to get in the way. Looks like it hasn't completely covered the 3. It gave Yasmin an edge, and she's looking to return the favour. And that looks more of a full ball safety to me. So Pia staring down a 2 cushion escape, hoping to create distance between the 2.
Yeah, kicking the 3-ball towards the open. And a shot for Albin. Just needs to cheat the pocket and bring the cue ball 2 rails to the right side of the table.
Appears there will be forced into a 4-9 combination. If so, 4 clearly does not pass. That's a difficult one as well. Ooh. Well, he put a lot of venom in that shot. Unfortunately, got the cue ball moving, but towards the 10 ball, took a little awkward bump on the 10. So has now left his sister Yasmin in a position where she's probably going to elect to go safe, and I don't blame her. Oh, very nicely. Using the 10 ball as well, just to bump the cue ball further along. And this is a difficult spot for Dennis. Without hesitation, Tim just pushes the 9 up against the 10.
Well, the bad news is, if there is a 4-10-9 combination, the shot might not work out for them.
That is a really good spot. I didn't even think of that, Tim. I was too busy looking at how they would come around the backside of the 9. But yeah, it does look quite plumb. Clearly not plumb enough. Well, not taking your option, Tim, and also not taking the option of developing that too, so a little bit of banter between the pair. Clearly they have something in mind.
Yeah, wondering what the plan is. Could go
still
2
thinking,
rails. Could go 2 rails or 3 rails into the 10-9 now, with where the 7 is. Most of the time, you will be fine. Only if you catch the 9 ball full, I feel like the 10 could be in between.
Ooh. That's exactly what he did, Tim. And I think they may have left a good look at this 7. Yeah, Yasmin calls it. It's not the easiest of shots, but, well, that was not only brave, it was rewarded. Great eyes, Tim.
Yeah, trying to do too much with the cue ball. Now, this could turn this opening set around.
Yeah, and very timely for Pia Filler and Dennis Graber. I've not really had an opportunity like this yet in the match so far. This would be a great time to shift momentum with Albin and Yasmin Ushan on the hill in this first set, as Dennis Graber tucks away the 10 ball there, brings the score to 3-1, and they're off the mark. They still have a bit of an uphill struggle in this first set, but that's the best way to get it started and mount the comeback. That's beautiful arena here at the Gandia Palace Hotel, Tim. It looks beautiful in the Spanish colours, the yellow and red. Stars.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to look pretty, and I'm not talking about the arena, I'm talking about the game itself, has been quite the struggle for Filler and Grabe. But in the end, it's about the result, and as long as it starts to be pretty from here, everything could be okay. Needs to make a ball on the break, though. Oh, and the cue ball. Ooh. Well, plus, the bad news is the roll up on the 7. We might even see a 110 combination after. In case they get ball in hand, of course.
Well, over the past 2 days of play, we've certainly seen strategies like that be employed to great effect. Was that one ball bounced a bit too much? From this angle, it looks like it has. Oh, that was a very nice, delicate shot. The thinnest of contacts on the 1, slides it over the long rail up behind the 10. And now it's the Ushan's chance turn to find themselves in a bit of a pickle. But yeah, you pointed out at the beginning of this rack, Tim, Filler and Grabber not got balls off their breaks yet. And at this point in the tournament, they really need to get their break working.
Well, they have called the 10, sending the 1 up to the 8, hopefully up table. And in case she had hit it thinner, there was a chance of making the 10. I like the call, but the shot is on, and well, it's mid-range. It's one that's supposed to drop, but very easily missed.
I have to say, Tim, I do like the spread of the balls. I didn't really want to point that out until Pia had played a shot. She made a great shot there, very solid pot, and has put themselves in good position here to keep the momentum running.
Yeah, not too challenging overall. As long as she gets to the center of the table from 3 to 4. 5 connects automatically to give a nice angle on the 6. And the 7 connects with the 8. Can imagine they're playing the 9 in the right center to bring the cue ball back down table for the 10. So possible 3-2 in the making, unless something weird happens, something odd.
I think Dennis was just looking at where he wants to put Pia on this 5 ball. And needed to navigate around the 9, did that well, but was teasing it a bit. He did take 2 or 3 looks at that, but has put this in very nice position for Pia. Maybe just to bring the cue ball back a trace. Yes, very nicely done. And Like a mystic Meg, Tim. I think you were right. Coming up high on the 9, just to be able to float down to the 10. It looked obvious, but easier said than done. And this is a great response after facing 3-0 down in the race to 4 of the first set, Tim. Very impressed.
Well, like I mentioned, it doesn't have to be pretty. This is already looking a lot better for them. Now also with Dennis breaking. Dennis, who actually broke the balls really well in the first rack. Came up dry but broke them really well. So does have nice odds to make a ball. Who knows, we might be looking at 3 each.
Exactly, Tim. And as you just look in the background there at our other TV table, the matchup between Chinese Taipei and the Spanish duo, they've just finished the first set, and the Spaniards bested the first set. They lead by 1-0, so that's great news for the home supporters and for the home crowd. But they are going to be up in a tough match, as are Dennis and Pia here. But they are clawing it back. Dennis to break. They've turned it round from being 3-0 down to now only trailing by 1 rack, 3-2. And I was just about to say a dry break. I had to recount them. But yeah, not getting his break working yet. You feel that if and when he does, Pierre and Dennis could really steal a match. Now, yeah, Yasmin just taking a second look at the angle on the 1. I don't think they can see enough of the 1 to be able to pot it, so maybe looking to go safe. Or can he? Maybe he can see the angle, Tim.
Well, I don't think so, but he was able to see enough with a lot of left spin to throw it in. Camera angle definitely got us there.
Yeah, and so did Yasmin, because Yasmin looked at it 2 or 3 times and sort of shook her head at it. Incredible. The player's eye view being the best view of all. And now Yasmin has a good look at the cut on this blue 2. Needs to avoid traffic. Has avoided the traffic, but didn't make the pot, Tim. Maybe compromise one for the other there. But second prize has put them in a spot of bother. And, well, I didn't think the 1 cushion escape was on. Dennis has just addressed the ball in a fashion to sort of massage it around. And maybe that's what he's asked of his partner, Pia Filler.
Well, would like to catch the left side. The scratch is there over the right side of the 2. Just like that, she's hit it great.
Yes. Nearly got the safety back as well, Tim. I think it's just fallen short of that. But great shot from Pia Filler there. I have to agree, Tim. I thought if that cue ball had caught on that cushion, it was forever and a day and in off. So very well navigated. Now what is Albin going to do here? He could bring the cue ball, or rather leave the cue ball up the top end of the table and shift the 2 down.
Then again, how often do you see that 2 ball laying next to the 10? That's something he's got to be careful with. Well, it's low enough to be safe and not leave something on the 10. But we might see either a bank or safety behind the 10.
I think you called it, Tim. He's called the bank.
Gotta say, he's went a bit aggressive on there, not leaving the cue ball near the bottom short rail.
Yeah, agreed. I think he went full-blooded, playing for position on the 3. Didn't make the 2, but the 2's bounced up into a bit of a funny spot. It hasn't come up far enough for the centre bag, so... Yasmin just keeping it tight, keeping the opponents in trouble. Is there a gap, a window?
Window.
P is crouched down there, and I can see her head moving up and down a bit. Oh, I think there is. I don't know how much you can see of it, but...
That was probably the best thing she could have done from that position. If you consider, if there was no gap, I don't think it was very possible to get to the 2 ball. And obviously she was not able to hit it thinner or thicker without making a foul. But I foresee more trouble for them though. Because that cue ball could be behind the 6, 2 ball down table. But then again, you can see the slight bit of frustration there from Albin, because that's 2 in a row where they have left just a eeny meeny gap.
Yeah, the slightest of channels, but that's enough, and that's all Pierre and Dennis need. Well, I think he was hoping for the blue 2 to run behind the 6 there. It took a little knock and has hung out there a little bit, but it's a very thin cut to take on with where the cue ball is on this short rail. Did the 3 get hampered by the 10 as well? Well, we won't need to find that one out yet, but... Oh, and again, a bigger gap, a bigger window. More importantly, not safe.
Well, she might even be able to play for... Well, they're leaving the cue ball in between the 5 and the 9. I was thinking all the way down. Could possibly stick it behind the 10. Not sure whether they have the full hook, yes or no. If not, this is pretty high percentage for Albin nicking the 2 ball.
Yeah, that's... Well, I was about to say that's much better. There is no gap there, but... Well... There would have been if the 9 wasn't there, and that is played very well. Now, Dennis has the option of 1 and 2 rail escapes here. May be going into this with a bit of power. What got underneath it was able to sort of kick and stick, but the 2 ball didn't go anywhere. It stayed down there. And, well, maybe the 3 does go, but if not, maybe there's a 3-10 Karom into the bottom left corner.
Well, the kick 3-10 combo could be on, but I'm quite sure they must be playing for this cut on the bottom right. Just a 3-ball, right?
Right?
Now he's got me thinking. I mean, from this angle, it looks like they can still make the 3-ball on the thick side of the corner. But also to get on the 4 doesn't go in the top left. The 5 is blocking quite a big area to play shape for the top right. Yeah, played the save, was trying to get behind the 8. But the corner pocket point sent it right back to that long rail. Then again, I wouldn't be too worried just because of the 4 not passing by the 5. But a stop shot on the 3-ball and a roll-up safety on the 5 could be somewhat of a bad news.
Oh, Pia Filler made that look rather easy, Tim. That was by no stretch of the imagination an easy shot. She was jacked up. Now, that 4 does not pass. Or does it? Oh, I think it may have done, you know, Tim. And that,
Oh, wow.
you'd have to say, is a disappointing miss for Team Filler Grabber. That was the chance to bring this first set back to all square on the hill. And they put in a lot of effort to get to that point.
Yeah, a bit straight. Might have to go for a long 6-ball.
Yeah, I don't fancy screwing back from that 5 with the centre pocket where it is. If the cue ball is at all high on the 5, that'll probably make that shot a bit easier. But no, you're right, Tim. There was no value in that.
Well, the more difficult thing is now this 6-ball is longer. They might have to play with top right spin around the 9, and the pace always difficult to judge. Very easy to come up a bit in between. I think it might be alright to play again top left. Play the 7 in the top right, I mean, and then top left spin. Short rail,
Yeah.
long rail, back to the center. But yeah, the 9 could come in between. He might be going 3 rails. No. Ooh.
He got that cue ball close to the corner pocket. I didn't think he was going to go that close. It maybe to avoid coming anywhere near the 9, but it's come up a bit short, Tim.
And it looks like Jasmine was lining up for this cut. Changed her mind. Is now going for the bank. Or even the safety. And I think it's the right choice if you consider the scoreline. They were up 3-0. I feel like taking the bank and risking it all would have been a bad choice there.
Completely agree. Good level of maturity there from Yasmin. I certainly know I wouldn't be that disciplined myself. And Pia's...
Oh. Is it on? I feel like you have to go at this. I mean, I know the side pockets are a bit sharper than the corner pockets on the new Predator Arc table. I kind of like that fact, but some players, they seem to struggle with it. But I feel you have to take this.
Yeah,
Worst
and
thing
the
would
added
be
benefit.
straight.
Well, the added benefit was you didn't need to do anything with the ball, and you could put that in as dead weight as possible. I don't think she's straight on this, but
Well, I was gonna say even if she stops the cue ball, the cut on the 10 would be on. But this doesn't look like a cut. So the opening set goes to the Ushans. And as you can see, the timeout has been called by Grabe. They're desperately wanting to leave the arena, trying to change the momentum around. But very interesting to see that the Ushans, they're staying in the arena, which most of the time they both leave. But they are choosing to stay in the arena, so while they're still going at it, testing the table, drinking water, I don't know, whatever they're gonna do. Let's have a quick look around the room to see what's going on.
well, I can see Rapero and Sanchez Ruiz. And a big high five. Looks like Rapero's just closed out an early rack there, with plenty of balls still on the table. Big smiles from the Spaniards. There will be a big contingent here to support them. Just having a quick look at the score. Hopefully you are as well. Oh yes, they are leading 1-0 in sets on the table against Hong and Sun of Chinese Taipei. And they're also winning 2-1 in sets. So looking good for the Spanish there. And just to note for our viewers who are going to be with us all day today, we have the women's quarterfinals beginning at 4 p.m. Before that, we have the Little Monster Men's International Open kicking off. That will be at midday today. And if you want to keep updated with fixtures and scores, please do visit the PBS ProBilliardSeries.com website, and on there you will have all of the fixtures for the 4 events running here in Gandia, Spain. And also, please do like, share and subscribe these matches and the channel on Pro Billiard TV. That would be great. The more people we can have involved and watching, the better. Are there any highlights for you out there, Tim, at the moment?
Yes, definitely. One very interesting result in this one last side, losing round 2, is Bean Hung together with Badr Alawadi. They are one set up against Han Yu and Mario He. So that's a little bit interesting. I'm not saying Bean and Alawadi are strong underdogs, but I mean, Han Yu and Mario He, I think, is a very strong team. So quite the challenge, and well, they have won the first set, so that's definitely a great start for them.
We also have the winners' qualification matches underway as well in the mixed doubles, and all moving along nicely there. One highlight just to make will be that Fischer and Kazakis are one set up against Sarac and Gangflot. But again, please do visit the ProBilliardSeries.com website, where we will have all of the latest scores and fixtures. Our referee for proceedings today is Greg Crowdis of New Zealand. Was having a good chat with the players before the match. All of our referees doing a fantastic job. But here we are, Tim, the start of the second set. Jasmine and Albin lead by 1-0. Looking to continue that form. That is very useful. Made balls off the break, left a really good look at the 3. No immediate problems either. I have to say, Tim, the Ushans have got their break working, and that could be the difference in this match, judging by the quality of all players involved.
I was gonna say a bit of an interesting shape from 3 to 4. Had to really maneuver the cue ball nicely. Touching the 6 could have been hooking themselves. Touching the 8 could leave a long 4. Even though it was wide open, still a little bit of challenges on the table if you look at the 5 to the 6.
Well, can they get around the 9 here and just use the short long rail and come down for the 6 into the bottom left pocket, perhaps, rather than coming across the potting line? Arden's just having a look as well. Yeah, just avoided the middle pocket. I like that shot, Tim. Especially as it's the one I called. Now, can just float off the short rail and back up the middle of the table. The 10 doesn't look to be in the way. Very nicely done, and the Ushan's taking advantage yet again of a very useful break.
Well, they are managing nicely, like we mentioned, as it was wide open, but still a couple banana skins on the way. This now perfect shape on the 9. Top left, 2 rails towards the 10 to start the second set with a breaker run. Could look a bit worrying for Filler Grabe. Oh, that did wipe its feet. Little smile from Dennis. So difficult as a top player to not see that happen. Because we all know when we hit it and it's not completely there, but it drops. That kind of feeling. So it's just
Yeah.
It's better to not see it, but it just happens, you know. You just see that your opponent is missing the ball thicker or thinner and still dropping.
Yeah, and quite rightly there, Tim. You picked up on Dennis. Dennis just with a little wry smile. He's been there. He's been on both sides of that coin. And yeah, I have to agree with you. The signs are that if the Ushans can keep breaking in the way that they're breaking, they are going to run away with this somewhat. And that will take nothing away from the quality of Dennis and Pia. But at this level, there are very, very small margins. And it can just come down to who gets even just the best position off a break, let alone making balls off the break. So far this has been the difference. And let's see what the second rack of the second set will bring us.
Ooh, cue ball. Well, but in the end, it is the reason why this break 100% sure has come up dry. No Square hit on the 1. Cue ball almost into the side pocket. It's an opportunity though for Grabe to get on the 2 ball. A challenging run out. 1 to the 2 is already difficult. Then 2 to the 3. And then of course the 6 doesn't go to the bottom right, so like I mentioned, some challenges again.
I think the way Dennis was lining that up, he was expecting to collide into the 3 with the cue ball. However, the pace he's hit it, it's come around 2 rails, and it's not in too bad a spot for Pia here. But yeah, as you said, a bit of work to do to get round for the 3. Oh, well, I would never have saw that coming.
How did that even drop? That is
It was
just
clean as a
absolutely. The worst thing is, I think mainly this rack was about the 1, 2, 3. Now with the Ushans getting the ball in hand on the 3 ball, the only thing they gotta do is leave angle on the 5 to drop in between the 6, 7. 6, 7. And then the run out is very much available. So, well, this has not landed ideal on the 4, but I'm more saying it's a bit unlucky, especially if, well, I'm quite sure we both did not see the scratch coming.
Ooh. And from the earlier wiping of feet from Albin's last shot, that one did not even drop. So Dennis back to the table. Now, where is he left Pia on this 5? Maybe she can screw back in between the 7 and the 6. You called it, Tim. Needs to get the cue ball somewhere in there, because that 6 does not pass the 7. Oh, very nice.
Yeah, and if you think about it, perfectly placed cue ball, as Dennis won't be cueing over the 7. Sure, it's not a ball that should be missed, but this is such a big difference.
Well, it's just off straight. Pia's going to have to either take the long 8 or move the cue ball a bit. And she was able to maneuver that ball very nicely and has finessed it into the centre. Well, a rare miss from Albin Ushan, pounced on by Pia and Dennis here. They are not going to let the Ushans run away with this, I feel, Tim. But will need to get their brakes working as Dennis Graber polishes off the 10 and brings the score back to 1 apiece in this second set. However, the pairing do trail by 1 set to 0 and will be looking to push forward from this point. Now, Tim, we've got a lot of pool coming up today. As I mentioned, the men's will be kicking off at midday, which will be straight after this. And then later on in the afternoon, both of the girls at the table now will be performing in the quarterfinals of the Little Monster Women's International Open. Both have been playing very strong in that. So we are in for a treat today, as Pia want to get something working from her break here. Well, Yasmin jumps out of her chair. Maybe even looked as if she was expecting it to be a dry break. But she was up like a cut cat, and now, well, I'm not too sure. She should have been so eager to get to the table, because I don't believe there's a clear shot on the one, so we may be seeing a push shot here. Where would you push here, Tim?
Well, maybe we could push some more balls together. Okay. With all jokes aside, possibly
That's a funny one.
to push the 3 slightly together with the 2 and leave the gap between the 2 5 on the 1.
Well, they've pushed the cue ball into what you would consider to be an open position to have shape on, to have a good look at this one. But with the cue ball resting up against the short rail, it's fraught with danger, and I do see a better and more easier shot of killing the cue ball back up to this end of the table again. However, Pia and Dennis have put the Ushans back into play, and that will be now Albin.
I'm expecting them to play pure the cue ball back down table underneath the traffic. Focus on the cue ball. The object ball really is not gonna leak out as much. I mean, you have 4, 5, 6 balls to get behind. And even if they make the jump, doesn't matter. The rail first is not gonna give something guaranteed on the 2. Yeah. It gives the safety opportunity, but it's... Oh, doesn't want to be behind the 4. Oh dear.
I have to say, Tim, I do think that Dennis and Pia missed a trick there with the push shot. Normally when the ball is so available as it was, yeah, I find it very difficult to give that back, and well, they did. They got put in trouble. Dennis got out of trouble and put Pia in trouble, so... Oh, and that was a difficult one to get out of. She looked at Massey.
If you think about it, Albin played like a half ball hit and only made sure there was enough pace on the cue ball to bring the cue ball all the way down table. Like, it was not a very thin hit, nothing too scary cueing wise. So indeed, I'm a little bit surprised they did not take it on themselves, Grab and Filler. So the first opportunity in this rack, the real opportunity, is going to the Ushans again.
Yeah, good little bit of communication between the two. I'm sure, being siblings, they know each other's game inside out. But I always feel in couple play, communication is key. Yasmin doesn't look very happy with the result from that shot, though. A player who will reveal a little bit more from her demeanour and body language. I do embrace that passion. But Albin's left with...
Sorry, go ahead.
I say Albin's left with a difficult position. May look to lock the cue ball up. I was going to say behind the 7 or against the 7. I think he's avoided a gap. But yes, Tim, Ushan's just falling out of position, but doing what they need to do, keeping Filler and Grabber in a spot of bother.
Oh, that's a bit of a roll. You could see Dennis putting his hand up. Made a solid hit, but you're just never sure whether the cue ball is moving back down table enough, yes or no.
No, absolutely. I will say I have seen Dennis pot quite a few balls getting out of snookers like that as well, so I did fancy him. Maybe even making the pot on the corner, but he got second prize, putting Yasmin in trouble. Yasmin's played a lovely jump shot. Oh, and was threatening to get full ball cover on the 3 with the 8, but the cue ball just kept its momentum somewhat. And there is a gap. Is it a gap enough though, Tim? I think Pia believes there is.
Yeah, I think it's on. Doesn't have to do too much with the cue ball either. Just leave the cue ball in between the 10 and the 8. Slight draw, low left. Oh, a bit more oomph on the ball. Works as well.
It needed it to get back across for this 4. And made the pot look rather easy as well. So Dennis bringing the cue ball down below the 5, looking to leave shape for the centre pocket. Maybe not come down as far as he wanted, but still. I'm just wondering if the 7 will hamper a natural pot, so maybe she's called the bank. Oh, Tim, how do you like that?
Oh, absolutely brilliant. 6 ball does go by the 9, so it was worth the risk. Cannot always hide. So at times you have to go. Ooh. 6 off the 9 by accident, touching the 7. That was a very scary shot he's just played, but it's on. I would not even worry to shoot the 7 in the top right. Like, that way you can stroke the ball a bit freer.
Yeah, good call, Tim. And has made it and left a very straight 8 for Dennis here. Dennis just doesn't need to do much at all, just can stop the cue ball where it is. And dare I say it, Tim de Ruiter, that and I didn't dare say it, but I will now. Dennis and Pia take the lead for the first time in a set, albeit in the second set. And a very useful lead it will be indeed. These guys need to win this set to take it to a third, so it's very important, in fact imperative, that they continue this momentum. I do still feel though, Tim, that if we were to go on form, the better breaks are coming to the Ushans at the moment. As we just take a little look at the Spanish duo that are taking on the couple from Chinese Taipei. This is the...
Yeah.
Looks like they're still in the second set. So still a lot of pool to play there.
Well, they are tied at 3. They could go to a deciding set. Or the Spaniards to win, so... Oh, look at this cue ball.
Wow.
Aye, aye, aye.
Aye, 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 indeed. Well, I hope that wasn't the commentator's curse, but I mean, it's quite obvious who's getting the better of the breaks at the moment. And that may mean that Dennis and Pia have to dig deep. Well, there's a 9. I would say the 9 and 10 were a bit tricky, but it looks like the 9's just off, holding off the 10 ball there with a route through to the bottom left corner. And where the 8 is, that may not be too much of a problem. So a good look here for Yasmin and Albin. Yep, brought it back very nicely into the centre of the table there. And Albin just needs to be a bit cautious here to leave an angle on the 6 for his partner. Which he has done.
Oh!
Well, Tim, that one got me jumping. However, it dropped. It thought about it, but it dropped. And now Albin doesn't want to leave too much of an angle on the 10, you feel. So allowing Yasmin just to float the cue ball over, maybe just take a knock off the long rail as well. Ooh, slow down. It did indeed. So, pouncing on their opponent's break again. And, well, if Pia and Dennis were thinking they were going to walk the second set, it's not going to happen.
Well, crucial moment to scratch, actually. 2-1 up. This is a must-win set for Villagrabber to stay alive in the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, you can't help but feel the breaks have been the difference, because certainly the calibre and quality of all the players involved is there, but you can only take the chances you get. Are they still on the 3-3 Hill over on the TV table 1? TV table 1, yeah. It looks like it.
You know what's probably the most hurting thing to that scratch on the break? Is the fact that I actually think he broke him really well. And then they also gave ball in hand without it even being anything of a labyrinth. I mean, it was like wide open. No challenges positional wise. Like everything was connecting the dots. It was a really nice warm up run out for Ushans to get back into the set.
Ooh. The 3 refused to drop.
This is such a big deal too. I've told Mark this a couple times. I said if you would have the skill to always hook your opponent when you have a dry break, you're going to win a lot of matches. Because your opponent is going to push and you will always get the choice whether you like it or not. So you're still in control.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a big element of mind games there as well. It can really bring down your opponent if they were to feel that you were getting, as they would say, the luck off the break. And especially when you're feeling the pool gods are going against you, it can certainly mount up into pressure. So, as you alluded to, you always get the choice to take on this shot after the push. Albin has waved back Dennis into play. Well, it has a corner pocket. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about this.
Well, he's called a top left. Not an easy shot, but there is really not much more he could do. Well, maybe stop the cue ball behind the 2, shooting the 1 into the 5, but I can understand why he goes for this shot, but ooh, a bit of body movement there. He does do that at times, but most of the times when he moves on the shot, he still makes them. And this time, just barely stays up.
Yeah, Dennis Grabber, a fan favourite here with Little Monster and with Predator. We saw him do very well in his hometown in Tallinn. And he's always in the mix, as are all 4 players on our screen right now. So a little bit of banter between Albin and Yasmin. Yasmin clearly knows what she wants. Oh, that's taken a massive bounce off the long rail, Tim. Yasmin calling the corner pocket. Some good value in this. If she can just stun into the long rail, she will hold for the 3.
Yeah, a bit of traveling to do now on the 3 ball. Don't think they're straight enough to draw straight back where they are now. And also, slight bit of risk to scratch in the other side. Or can they? I mean, I don't like to go 2 rails with where the 6, 7, 8 are. Oh, he fancied himself to play it 3 rails to leave Jasmine a little longer.
Oh, that 6 is just in a tricky spot for Yasmin there to get her hand on the table, so she's just going to have a little bit more of an extension hanging off the bridge. Not a problem. Well, this is a big rack for both teams here. For Filler and Grabber, important to get to the hill and get their first set under the belt, but what do the Ushans have to say about that? That was kind of nicely done, Tim?
Well, he definitely got me scared for a second to scratch, but he's landed absolutely perfect. I think Jasmine can play the 6 to the right side of the corner, her left side, Draw the cue ball over to the left of the 7. The only thing though, I was... Oh, I'm not too sure what happened. Did she almost drop her cue? Or... It's interesting. I would have always liked to go too far than too short. So always go... I'd rather have over angle than this angle.
Yeah. Well, they took the best out of that situation and have locked Pia and Dennis into a bit of trouble. One cushion escape, nothing guaranteed after contacting the 7.
Oh, that might be too soft. And she did not make a hit, so obviously ball in hand, but I'm not sure if she had hit the 7 full on the face. I'm not sure if the pace was enough.
No, it just looked like there was enough pace only for the cue ball to make the cushion, and if it had transferred any energy to another ball, I don't think either would. You correct there, Tim. Ball in hand to Yasmin now. Well, this is dangerous.
And this is going to put the Grabes, or the Ushans of course, the Ushans on the double hill. There's only one grab in the match. I don't know how I came up with Grabes, but I think we all know that commentating is quite stressful. The Ushans will be on the double hill. No way Albin is going to miss that.
Not at all, and well, Pia and Dennis sat in their chair there. There's not much they can do when they're not at the table, I'm afraid. And after Yasmin and Albin Ushan took the first set quite comfortably, you have to say, 4x to 2. The second set has been a little bit more different and certainly has had a few more twists and turns. But Yasmin and Albin have taken the lead and are on the hill in the second set. Just having a look at our great match that's going on table 1 at the moment. That had gone to 3-3 in the second set. Oh, and it looks like Hong and Sun have clawed that one back, and they now find themselves at 1 set apiece on that table, so plenty of action going on as we return to the tail end of the second set here. Albin Ushan has broke, but unfamiliarly broken dry. And is the tide turning? Look at where the 10 has ended up, Tim.
Well, the only thing I'm just wondering about, and most likely it's going to be fine, but sometimes that 4 is not too available. If the 4 doesn't go to the top left from where the 3 ball is, it could be a little tricky. Overall, I think it should be fine. 7 doesn't go past the 10. So definitely a 7-10 combination, unless they're playing for the other side.
Yeah, the 4 clearly does pass, and Dennis has given Pia a pretty decent angle there. Well, although it was dry, it was a very useful break for Albin. I think if they had made a ball off of that, they were in prime position to even run away with the match. But as we all know, pool is such a game of fine margins. And now, Pia Filler and Dennis Graber have a chance to bring the second set back to all square. And, well, the 5-10 combination looms. We've seen quite a few combinations so far over the past 2 days. And there we have it. Dennis Graber and Pia Filler have taken the sixth rack in the second set and has brought it back to 3-3 Hill. Well, this is crunch time in the second set. Pia and Dennis will have the break, so we'll have the upper hand. And as my dear colleague Tim alluded to, it's a must-win for them. Albin and Yasmin only need one more rack to take this set, as do Dennis and Pia, but the difference being they already have the first set, and that would be the win for them. So, big break needed from Pia Filler here. 3-3 second set.
Well, another dry break. And if you ask me, the only difference I can see between the two teams breaking... Well, let me ask you. What do you think is the difference?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Tim. For me, it's been more about the square hits and keeping the cue ball in the centre of the table. I think that in this match, they have been certainly the more advantageous.
Well,
what are you thinking?
But I think there have been a couple good hits also from Filler and Graber, but just coming up dry. The only thing though is that the Ushans, they are breaking from the other side. I'm not saying that is the 100% reason, but I don't think I've seen Filler nor Graber change over to the other side. But like I mentioned, there's obviously a lot more to the break, and there is luck involved. I mean, no guarantees. I really like this safety shot. High percentage to hit, but they have bought themselves a bit more time.
Yeah, they have, and Dennis looking for a kick and stick here. Would ideally like to freeze the cue ball where it is and throw that yellow one ball somewhere down towards the short rail where Dennis is playing from. Ooh. Well, he didn't hit it full. The one ball took a collision off the 5 and threatened to drop in the centre pocket, but it's just rolled past the centre pocket, so nothing easy for Team Ushan here.
Now, I would be looking at possibly banking the one ball over, sticking to cue ball under the 7, and always the backup with the 210. They were looking at getting the distance in, and they have left it straight in on the 1. With some distance, though.
Yeah, I think Pia was hoping to bring the 9 ball into play there to cover off the 1. She hasn't, and with the cue ball off the short rail, gives Albin a very good look at this.
Well, like I mentioned, the distance got him. Look at this, favorable roll.
Yeah, indeed. Now, well, I thought there was a chance for a jump there. Dennis has turned down 2 possible jump opportunities. However, why bother bringing your jump stick out if you can put your opponent straight away into a safe position?
Yeah, that was a great kick. A very good shot from Dennis. Quite a bit of trouble here actually for the Ushans. The 8 comes into play a bit. Nice full hit. Getting the distance, but not much more.
No. There is a cut on, but I do fancy playing safe here, maybe even getting that cue ball down locked towards the 3. Oh, very nice indeed. I'm not too sure if... No, that's been played very well, Tim, and has, well, locked down a good chunk of the table. Yasmin just pointing on the short rail at the other end of the table with her hand palm face open, as if you can put some spin on that, Albin.
Oh, directly into it. They are gonna sell out though. This is a chance for Grabe to get this to a deciding set. Actually, as far as I have to believe the schedule, Gath, I do believe our next matches are scheduled for, I believe it's 12 noon local time. Not sure if we will be making that if we go to a deciding set.
Yes, I'm sure Dennis and Pia will have something to say about that. He's just turned away with a little bit of disgust, though, and a smile. He's having a giggle with the Ushans as well. A couple of rolls not going his way somewhat. At least they're able to make light heart of it.
Oh, and this could be big trouble.
Yeah, you could see what Pia was trying to do there, but just came up short. And yeah, I think you might be right. That may have put the advantage back to Yasmin and Albin.
Yeah, trying to freeze up on the 10-6, but I think they took away the jump cue, Gath.
Well, I'm just wondering if it's a similar situation to we had at a tournament a few weeks ago, where a certain Nick Vanderberg turned up without his jump stick. Had to borrow his son's at one point. It can happen. Wow. Albin's got a smirk on his face there. I don't even think there's an edge for him. Yeah, not many options at all. One rail escape. Dennis standing up to have a closer look at this one. Oh, that's turned out rather rosy. A really nice exchange of safeties going on. Tense, if not one of the tensest points of the match.
Well, it's definitely the most crucial rack in this match.
Oh,
nice full hit. And that 2-ball, it might... Well, as you can see, it does go by the 8. But it would be nice to get a little bit room for error. Not easy to bring the cube all the way back down table for the 3-ball.
No, Tim, and where that 4-ball is, it just looks like it's going to take away any opportunity to get power or angle back for the 3, so... I'm not sure if they called the 3-8 combo, but it looked like distance was the key there. Now, Dennis at the table. Nothing very obvious for the blue 2. Looking to bring the 9-ball in between the pair, but hasn't. And although we are seeing an exchange of safeties, some of them just are not good enough.
Well, it's back to playing a lot of safeties. Nothing aggressive. The 2-ball above the 9. Cue ball to the bottom short rail. Don't think they can hold the cue ball behind the 10-6. They have opened up the 10-6 though, and there's the gap.
Yeah, quite a useful shot to ensure that the run out will be available. I do think Pia can see a good chunk of this 2, if not even both sides, may be able to come off the left side of the 2, bring the 2 back up the table and keep the cue ball down there. Yeah, she's tried that indeed, and is looking for the 4 to come to spoil the Ushan shot. Ooh, Yasmin's face says it has. So, this 7th rack in the second set, Tim, it doesn't even look to be threatening to be over yet.
Oh, she's gonna jump this. No guarantee to be on the 3-ball after. Can give a lot. But honestly, these are the positions, honestly, the positions where I struggle the most nowadays. Because you're like on the rail, straight on the 2. You have to go down table. There's no real safety to play. Well, maybe the 2 on top of the 4 and the cue ball on the bottom side, but it's like you're so limited in your options. And this is the only thing to do, and I kind of feel like you can only lose from here.
Yeah, I have to agree, Tim, and that's really well picked up on. I felt there was a shot there that he could just... Dennis could float through quite close to the corner pocket and there would be an edge left of the 3, but high level of difficulty decided against it. But the quality of Albin and Yasmin, they could turn around opportunities like this to their advantage, so I don't think they'll be doing it like that though, Tim.
So now the run out is on. The 6, I believe the 6 goes by the 10, so that's a huge difference. Obviously there is some nerves. Like we've mentioned before, this is a one-loss side match. And I do believe they still have to win 1 or 2 more to qualify to the last 8, so they at least need to win the set to stay alive in the tournament, but actually they need 2 sets to still be able to make it to the quarterfinals.
Dennis played a very nice shot there to keep the cue ball down low enough on the of the 9 to be able to see the 4. Has really opened up their opportunity here to take this second set.
Well, they are out of the woods. This table now wide open, plenty of space.
Pia and Dennis have done well to get back into this match. It really did look like Albin and Yasmin were going to run away with this at some point, and maybe even having the majority of the rolls too. But a testament to the professionalism of Pia and Dennis. Not only are they still in this, I feel that they're really starting to come into themselves as well. So if they were to take this second set and build a bit of momentum, they will be looking to upset the Ushans. And Tim, there we have it. Pia Filler polishing off the 10 ball there, and a big fist bump with Dennis Graber. I'm sure there will be a deep breath exhale from them both. They take the second set to level this match off at 1 set apiece. The players taking a break, a well-deserved break. I believe Tim and myself will also take advantage of that now. And we will be back with you very shortly to pick up all the thrills and spills of this third set. Please do not go away. We will be right back. Well, a warm welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you have got yourself a fresh brew, because we are being treated to a wonderful match, opening match on day 3 in this little monster mixed doubles international open. It is 1 set apiece, deciding set. Dennis Grabber to break. My name's Gethin Davis. I'm joined in the box for this exciting final set with Tim de Ruyter. Welcome back, Tim.
Thanks, and look at this. Too much topspin on the cue ball. He did move over to the other side, to the other long rail, and made a ball. So it was all about the cue ball. Now Duchamps, ball in hand, can make the one. A possible 2-10 combo. Or the run out, of course.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I'm just wondering if during the break, if Dennis Grabber was having a listen back to the earlier set, where you were pointing out that very thing with the breaking position. Because he certainly made balls, although, as you alluded to, the amount of topspin he had on that cue ball, the cue ball raced into the corner pocket as well, and good. Tough, tricky look at this too. Was just getting a feel for the shot as well. It's awkward cueing, clearly. Playing with such quality as Yasmin. A problem. Oh, she makes the blue 2. Makes the 10 ball, but didn't call the 10, so the 10 comes back out. The cue ball has finished in a short rail. The distance between it and the red ball.
Yeah, could have been the early win in the set, but they chose to go for the 2 and a safety on the 3 ball. This could be frozen on the 9.
Good shot. Table makes it a little bit trickier to come off a rail to get to.
Well, also that missed kick on the 3 ball has now possibly opened up the 4 a bit more available. Still will have to do quite some work from the 4 to the 6, straight draw.
both cues laid on the table here, looking for exactly where they want it. Take a ball build, just ball in hand. There are a few options.
Straight draw over to the right side of the 6. Bit short-ish, but it's a shot, and the scratch is not on, so should be fine with top spin, maybe top left.
Well, has played that very well. Left a nice leave on the 8. Piafilla just looking to draw back. The cue ball across the table for the 10. And a great start in this third set for Piafilla and Dennis Graber. We are not out of the woods when it comes to twists and turns. And they take the opening rack of this third set. A good fist bump. And after the dream start that Team Ushan got off to, they now find themselves trailing by 1 rack in the final set. So a real test of character now. Just have a look at our other TV table. Very great service that we're bringing to you for the Predator Pro Billiard Series events. This one, the Little Monster Mixed Doubles Open, but following this we have the Little Monster Men's International Open kicking off. And that will be following the match on this table now. And also we have the Women's International Open. The last 16 will be kicking off later this afternoon as well, where you will see both Pia and Yasmin Ushan performing. But right now they've got a doubles match to contend with.
Well, dry break from Pia. I think the 2-ball came in between to at least get the cover. Kind of feel like things are going slightly towards Filler Grab at the moment. Momentum not with the Ushans.
No. And I'm wondering if Both Yasmin and Albin needed to have taken their opportunities in the second set, because it certainly looks like, not just with momentum shifting and run of the balls, but Pia and Dennis look more and more comfortable the more they're playing together. So imperative now that the Ushans reassert their dominance on this match. Well, they're just trying to agree on a position to push this cue ball over to. They've left an open look at this one ball, Tim. A lot of distance between the two, and also not obvious position for the two guaranteed. And again, for the second time, Dennis giving it back to the Ushans.
Well, this time I find this position very difficult. The left side of the one, it's easy to catch the one too thick, and then the cue ball off the three or into the three ball. The putt itself, not a hanger, of course, with the cue ball on the rail. Could play a safety on the two after. Can he hit the one ball thin enough? I think that's the challenge. Well, the answer is yes, but no cover. So seeing this, I think it's a good choice from Dennis to give it back.
Yeah, agreed. And if Dennis can turn the screw on here and lock up Team Ushan for the next shot. Oh, he's not happy with the pace, he's contacted that, but the cue ball is coming round lovely into where he wanted it to. Dennis not really giving much away after he hit that ball. It looked like he was rather disappointed. But he's come out very nice there, Tim. So nice, in fact. He's drawn the foul from Yasmin Ushan and ball in hand for Pia. Are they going to go for the 3 fouls here, Tim? Looks like it.
Yeah, just gotta make sure to put the one next to the 5-10 for a possible 3 foul. She's played the cue ball well. Well, on the other side, you could also say she's opened up the 5-10 for a possible run out.
Yeah. Very useful shot. Achieved 3 things there. Opening up the cluster, putting their opponent in trouble. And more importantly, keeping the pressure on and not giving Yasmin and Albin an inch. It's a good time of the match to start turning it on as well. This is a thin cut on the one. Yeah, Dennis just queuing over the 10 makes this a bit trickier, and looks like he's wanting to put a bit of right-hand side on it as well. Well, he's held the cue ball for the 2 there, but he's put the 10 into the cluster over there. May not be out the woods yet, Tim.
Well, I'm definitely wondering what the plan is on the 4. More difficult to get to. The safety on the 4. I mean, it's not really giving much. I don't think you have the chance to send the 4 around the 5 and the cue ball tucked behind the 8-9. Oh, he might be on the scratch. Well, you have to give credits because this is now a really good position to play a good safety, to where almost any other position on the table would have been quite some bad news. Even if you roll up on the 10, bank the 4 softly into the 8, roll the cue ball to the left of the 10 indeed.
I would assume that Yasmin's going to go into this softly. However, she has made sure she's hit a rail, and a little tap on the table of appreciation from Dennis there. That was a tricky shot, but again, Team Ushan could find themselves in trouble after this one as well.
Rail first, nicking the 4.
Well, a very deft touch, but as we've seen already, these guys are able to find gaps. And just taking a closer inspection there, I mean, it looks like from here that there's no gap at all, but from the player eye view, they must feel that there is a gap, and if there is a gap, that's really unfortunate for Team Ushan. Ooh.
I think there was a gap to make a certain hit on the 4, just not to do much more with it. And well, one thing we don't have to argue about is the fact that that was a foul. That definitely did not work out.
Absolutely, Tim. Yeah, and it's not often we see situations like that, but it must have been a hair's width for that cue ball to go through, and Pia wanting to put a bit of premise on the cue ball as well always made that shot difficult. But ball in hand to Team Ushan at this stage is not recommended, especially if Dennis and Pia wanted to push on with the momentum from the first rack. Is that 9 going to put a spanner in the works though, Tim?
Oh, yeah, just got themselves the angle gap, and I'm wondering, with a nice angle on the 7, they could play a bump on the 10 or the 9. They could also choose to play the 9-10 combination, but it's quite off angle. The other option is to lay themselves very close to the 8, try to play precise shape to the 9, which is difficult to do. Not that many great positions to get on the 9 ball.
No, not at all, Tim. And Albin wasn't really giving too much away. He just gave Yasmin a look. They clearly know how each other operates, but Yasmin just stretching a little bit here, needs to put her extension on. It's quite a nice flat angle. They could screw up, maybe In between the long rail and the 9, but again fraught with danger. Oh, took a chunk of the long rail first, and I think she's played that to perfection. Yeah, as you pointed out earlier, Tim, electing to avoid these tight cut middle pockets on these beautiful new Predator arc tables. Took the long 9, sitting pretty. Yasmin Ushan takes the 10, brings this third set back to 1 apiece. Well, Tim, there's nothing between them so far. This is a nail biter.
Yeah, you can see the worried faces on the side of Filler Grabe. Filler, deep breath. Grabe looked like, oh dear, this is not looking great. And I kind of feel that too. I mean, all the momentum was with Filler and Grabe, I felt like. But now, there was a strong run out from the Ushans, and with a successful break, we both know what can happen. Oh, a 9 ball hanging up. She's made... No, that was not the 9, the 1 ball hanging up, but she's made a ball.
She has. There isn't a clear shot on the 1, but there is a clear pathway to it. I don't know if you can slide off the left-hand side of the 1 to bring the cue ball up the center of the table. And maybe bring the 10 into play with the cue ball. Oh, that's what he's tried to do. How do you like that, Tim? But where's the 1 going? Will it drop? Oh, if that had dropped, Albin and Yasmin were a whole world of trouble. Instead...
Well, Dennis is in a whole world of trouble. If the 1 ball is in between the jaws.
Oh.
Can he curve around the 8-5? But then there's a big scratch. Yeah, just like that. 3 rails around the 3 ball, around in between the 4-5. I mean, use a side pocket point. I mean, I'm no Efren, but this one is scary. I mean, even if you catch a 1 ball full, you might scratch. Oh, and he's opened up the 5-8. Does the 6 get tied? No, it's wide open.
No. Yeah, we saw a similar position earlier, Tim, and Dennis and Pierre electing very quickly just to professionally foul one of the balls into a position where you couldn't pot it, or it was blocking the run out for the opponent. Didn't really see much on there, and the way Albin locked that cue ball into the 10 really shut down all their options. So now they've got ball in hand. Will they be able to convert that here? Just going to be running this cue ball nearly the full length of the table.
Yeah, always a bit scary being straight to the corner so easily on the new equipment, to lose the cue ball and scratch with the 2 ball. So a bit more cut, a lot of right spin could help her throw the ball in and hold the cue ball. Or is he going back and forth? Yeah, top right. Can catch the ball thicker with the right spin. Bit of angle for Albin on the 4. So is he going to play the bump on the 10? Is he running the cue ball 3 rails for the 5 in the bottom right in this view? A bit speedy. This is going to be a lot of angle.
Indeed. A lot of angle. And Yasmin needs to be very particular with the cue ball here to get position on the 6. So the more angle she's left, the more difficult you feel this shot becomes. Just while we're waiting for Yasmin to play the shot, just want to add for our viewers at home, following this match we'll be moving into the Little Monster Men's International Open. That will be kicking off. We have not been assigned a match for this table yet, maybe due to the nature of how long this is taking, but we will keep you updated as to the matches coming up on this table next. Yasmin electing to play safe and use the 6-8 as cover to great effect him.
Yeah, definitely tightening the ropes with his safety. Could possibly make it though, but not over that side of the 5. It's a scratch.
Yeah. That's 2 ball in hands in this rack, Tim. Against players of this caliber. That's 2 too many in my book.
Yeah, not too much to add to this. Plenty of space. Even if he's straight, he could draw back. Take anything on the 9.
And
Two shots.
yeah, step by step, the Ushans are getting back to where they were at the end of the first set. Feeling good and shooting consistent. This could go all the way, Tim. What do you think?
Well, the Ushans, they did lose their initiative in this match. I mean, they won the first set, and then technically they lost it all the way till the rack they just won. So I'm not too sure, honestly. I mean, we could go all the way, but a lot will depend on this break. In the background, you see Henrik Larsson in action. Think that will be a men's open, Little Monsters men's international open match between Henrik Larsson from Sweden and Megzon Kleiki from Kosovo. It's definitely interesting to watch, I feel like, because, well, Henrik is one of the best wheelchair players on this planet. and
by,
they
by
are
a long
using
stretch.
a shot clock. So hopefully he did his cardio.
Yeah, and as you alluded to, the men's event has kicked off officially now. We will be following this match, we hope, with one of the first round men's matches, but that is of no concern to us in the booth right now. This is too gripping to even worry about what's next. I'm just having a little chat off to the bottom left corner of our screen there. There is a thin cut into the centre pocket, but I'm not sure that will really help them that much.
Well, I think they're looking at playing the safe, banking the 2-ball 2 rails to the left long rail, and following the cue ball. Possibly behind the 9. Also has the 8. That could come in between. Calling the bank just in case, but I don't really see them making this bank. And if they do, they might have a carom on the 10. So, bit of a two-way. Ooh, that has come up very wide.
Yeah, it has indeed. They just pushed the 4 a bit closer to the pocket as well up there. Don't think that will really affect the shape of the game. Dennis looking to create distance, would have liked the 3 to have got in the way as well, but it hasn't. Now, does the 2 pass the 7, and is there value in going for it? It might just pass, you know, Tim.
Yeah, but then still not a lot of future. Well, certainly not happy there. Felt like, I think he was also trying to, if he misses the ball, he would have to miss it on the thick side. Completely misjudged it, overcut the ball and left it in front of the corner. Interesting to see what Pia is gonna play for shape on the 3, but even if they tap it in, they would have a 3-10 combo. But now I fear they will have to play another safety.
Yeah, it didn't seem to be an easy pattern to get on the 3. I like your call of just tapping it in and leaving the 3-10 combination. Looks like she's come too far down the cushion for that.
Well,
But
or tap it in and play a safety.
Yeah, I like the safe just glancing off the right-hand side of the 3, maybe pushing the 3 onto the long rail and back out and just coming down up behind the 10. Even better like that. So this is a tightly fought contest. We have quite a few results now coming through in the mixed doubles Little Monster event. And one to note that Alex Kazakis and Kelly Fisher have made it through the winners' qualification. And the other through is Daniel Maciol and Chen. 2 more matches underway there. Pia slightly hampered by the 5. Oh, not just able to play along the edge of it.
Oh.
Whoa. Well, I didn't hear the call in the background. You have to excuse me there, Tim. I didn't know if she called the 4 or the 3. They both had a very good chance of going in the corner pocket. As it has happened, neither dropped. And Armin's got a very nice look at this and doesn't need to move the cue ball too much to stay for the 4 in the same pocket.
Yeah, honestly, I was not too sure either what exactly she called there. The only thing I look at is, well, they're not at the table. She's left the 3 ball hanging over the corner. And this is a chance for the Ushans to get on the hill, the double hill. But we have seen them struggle a bit towards the end in the second set. Is that going to fade through in their performance in the third?
I don't know if you're looking at Dennis there in the background. He looks rather comfortable in his chair, should we say. Yeah, I feel that that has been played very well. It's probably the last key shot for Team Ushan in this rack. Obviously getting 8 to 9, but it all looks quite natural. And, well, it's not nice that someone has to lose, but you felt this match could have gone either way. After the first set, I actually thought the Ushans were going to run away with it. As it still stands, there may be another twist to this tale yet. But for this 4th rack in the 3rd set, an absolutely crucial result for Team Ushan as Yasmin puts away the 10 ball and extends their lead to 3-1, but more importantly reaches the hill in this crux rack, rather, set. And now, as you would say, hill, or rather the double hill for them. What can Filler and Dennis Graber do here to turn this around?
Well, they might not have much to bring into this set anymore.
That's a good point, Tim. I was just about to say the first thing they'll be looking for is a dry break, something for them to get their teeth into. However, on the balance of play, Team Ushan have been getting the better of the breaks. So, Yasmin to break on the hill, leading 3-1 in the final set.
Well, there you go.
That's the dry break.
Just no look on the 1.
No, and that's been the story on a few occasions, normally favouring Team Ushan. So Pia is going to have to do this the hard way with her teammate Dennis Graber, Germany and Estonia. I'm not seeing a very pretty place to push to. I've seen distance between the balls be the best solution in these situations. But there's a lot of traffic down there, Tim, and if they do leave their opponents with a good look at the 1 ball, they could find themselves in a lot of trouble afterwards.
Yeah, that I do not think this is the best push out to play, because that cue ball is gonna be frozen on the 9, and the 1 ball is gonna be next to the 2. Don't you think?
Well, I would certainly do my best to do that, especially with the 5-9 like that. You can even go into them with a little bit of pace on the cue ball and still look for it to be locked. So a very good call there, Tim.
Yeah, you don't even have to baby the ball. Just gotta make sure the cue ball goes short off the short rail. Oh, he's played it the other way around.
Oh, and caught the 4.
That's a surprising call from him. I mean, obviously we all like to get the more distance on the table, and if there's 2 balls in between long distance, it pays dividends most of the time, so I can understand why he's played this, but I thought the other shot was quite obvious, and then we get to see Dennis missed the 1 ball. Did he get a little bit of fortune behind the 4? Needs a bit, yeah. Wow.
Oh, he did. Yeah. Oh, is it going to be a case of who gets the best roll in these closing racks? But I didn't expect Dennis to miss that. However, he did. Oh, that 1 ball's going in. And it was called.
That gives them... Albin pointing at the table telling her, why did you not put the cue ball there?
Absolutely hilarious.
I still think, though, he's okay to go 1 rail into the 2, kicking the 2 ball down table underneath the 10-6. Oh, he was still able to see it. Oh.
He was, but he would have ideally liked to have rolled behind that 7, because he's left a look at this 2. And Dennis alluding to the fact that Pia could just roll up behind the 4 here with the cue ball, leaving the 2 on the short rail. Oh, nearly had the perfect line there. Did get the 2 on the short rail. So another difficult shot for Timu Shen coming up.
Well, there's 2 ways she could go. Excuse me. 2 ways she could go. 2 ball to the left side of the 10, cue ball behind the 8, or the 2 ball to the right side of the 8 and the cue ball to the left of the 10. Oh, she won't be happy at all.
No. And as much as Dennis Graber and Pia Filler have found the gaps, that is a huge gap. And Dennis calling the bank on the 10 into the left centre pocket, on the 2 rather. Wasn't far away, but it's hung out. Just takes a little chunk of the 5 on its way. And that has left a very tricky look at the red 3 ball here. He has been just inspecting the cut angle.
Yeah, this is looking good. Underneath the 6-10.
Yeah.
And that's also, I think, a big difference if you look at, well, I think it's safe to say we have 4 top players in the world on this table at the moment. Is that these kind of shots, they are like 95% or higher to be safe. Like they don't really leak out or play way too short or way too long on this kind of safety shots.
No, and the consistency that these players have to back it up is unbelievable. They put in a lot of hours, not just practice, but in tournament play as well. As you see there, Pia Filler just having a little fist bump. Got away with it somewhat there. The 3 is just leaked over behind the 6. I don't know if that creates an opportunity for Alban just to play a very faint safe.
Oh, he's got the pace.
I like that, Tim. I really like that.
Well, I thought it was gonna stop in time. Dennis might be able to go aggressive and cut this in the left center, but that would be more of a I have to do something, so let's go for the cut kind of shot. Oh, watch that cue ball. Doesn't want to go down the drain.
It doesn't.
Needs to stop.
Okay. Okay. I do like the jovial spirit between all the players. As serious as this is. And with €100,000 prize pot, it's still nice to see them enjoying themselves and not beating themselves up too much.
Well, also, if we look at, we've seen 3 sets so far, and the balls have been rolling a bit funny too. I mean, we've seen nice breaker runs, we've seen nice run-outs, good kicks, a lot of spectacular shots, but also a lot of safety shots where the ball, if it stopped a ball earlier or rolled the ball further, the outcome would have been massively different. So
Yeah,
I think all 4 have realized that things could have been completely the other way around in this match.
and it's very useful that if the brakes are not working, that you can back it up with good safety play. And that is really what's keeping this match close. As Yasmin plays that very nicely off opposite long rails to get round for the 6. We're having a little inspection of the 7-9. You would scream combination, but it's not straight, and there's a little bit of distance between the 2.
Well, it does scream combination to them. 7 balls going into the wild. I think I would look into drawing the cue ball at least. Well, you cannot really draw it directly towards the center of the table because of, well, they still have to make the cut. But I'm not gonna stop the cue ball there and take a risk of not getting something. I'm going to try and put the cue ball more up to the center of the table. Oh, there was more cut on it. Well, 3 balls away to scrape this match for the Ushans. I mean, I don't think it was a very confident victory, but it doesn't always have to be pretty, like we mentioned earlier. Well, imagine this match, they need to win 2 more to get to the quarterfinals, so still have plenty more action to come. Make sure to stay tuned on ProBilliardSeries.com and the ProBilliard TV channel. Captain Davies and myself, Tim the Writer, are going to sign off for now. Make sure to check out Table 1 with Henrik Larsson, the best wheelchair player on the planet, up against Megson Kleiki. We will be back on this particular table at 4 p.m. with plenty more action to come from Gandia, Spain. Thank you, and we'll see you soon.
I was laughing.